Floss Tubers, welcome to my 4th video. I am sorry you have to look at me in this shape, but today has been barn day. The last few nights have been barn nights for my husband, which also keeps me up. But we are in the middle of kidding season right now. Actually, we're at the beginning of kidding season. We own a goat farm. So my husband has been doing his checks during the night, and we have been having babies. Currently, we have 15 moms with their little babies, so we have approximately 30 babies out there. So some we have to bottle feed, some are okay. We've got a few moms that are down and out right now, so we're not quite sure what's happening with them, but they're not able to stand up to feed their babies, so hopefully they recuperate. We've given them a few antibiotics. Hopefully they'll get better. If not, then we have to either sell or decide to bottle feed. And I think my husband has already kind of decided he's not bottle feeding this year. So and I don't really get to help a whole lot with my job that keeps me away. I happen to be home today, so I did the 3 o'clock check for him, and I'll probably have to go out in another half hour to do another check, just to make sure. We don't want any babies born outside. It's kind of cold out there. It's -6 degrees, and those little babies all wet can freeze pretty quick. And I had planned to take the camera down so that you could see a new baby, but both times I went down, I totally left my tablet at the house, and which was unfortunate because the first thing this morning when we went down, sorry about my hair, there was 3 moms that had babies, and I could have videotaped the whole thing right from the first push, but sorry, I didn't. And some of you might have been grossed out anyway. I don't know, it's not for everybody, and it's not stitchy related, so who knows whether it would be something people would appreciate. So, anyway, I'm going to, well, our house has been kind of in upheaval, and I don't know if you noticed the background. I'm not at my store. I had to close my store, unfortunately. I was not busy enough to pay the bills, so it was a heartbreaking decision for me to have to do, but it's been done. So now I am going to be updating my website. It's been there all along, but it hasn't been updated lately. So I'm hoping that I can stay in business a little bit longer with my website, and maybe if it happens to go really well, it might be something that I can keep doing. I've been contemplating learning how to dye fabric because I have not been able to find a Canadian company that dyes fabric. The one that was here, Sugar Maple Fabrics or Maple Sugar Fabrics, they closed quite a while ago, and as far as I am aware, there is nobody that has replaced them. So I'm going to see whether I have the capability of doing that. And it might be the door that opens when the window's shut, or the window that opens when the door's shut, whatever you want to call it. And we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to order some dye soon and maybe give that a whirl and see what happens. Because I think there's a lot of Canadians with our dollar being so bad that they would like to purchase from Canada, but they can't because there's no suppliers in Canada. But I could be mistaken totally. Who knows? But I thought, well, I'll try it, see what happens. So my daughter is still in Australia. She is coming home in a couple weeks, we think, unless she has an extraordinary good time on a road trip and decides to not come home right away. But I think she's ready. She's been gone since Halloween, and I think she's ready to come home. She's visited Perth and stayed a month in Sydney. Then she went a few weeks in Brisbane, and now her and a friend are doing a road trip along the coast to drive to Melbourne. They rented a van, and it's got a bed in it to save money. So as far as I know, they're having a good time. So we'll hopefully see her in a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. And then we just finished moving my son back home. His job didn't work out where he was living, so now he is home to apprentice with his dad as a mechanic. So far that's been going good. But we just moved all his stuff home, so it's like, trying to find room for everything again. And the room that I had so nicely deemed was going to be my craft room is now his bedroom again. So we'll see what happens there. He's talked about moving in with his sister when she gets home, but that won't be until after summer because they're both committed for the summer. So it'll be taking getting used to again, because in a few weeks we'll have 2 kids home again, and we've gone from having nobody here to having 2 come back. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I love my kids and I love them being home, but it's a big change to go through twice like that, to have them all gone and then have some come back. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that had that happen to. So I really shouldn't complain, because it is good that they want to come home. Could be that kind of parents, that the kids don't even want to come home, but we're not. So yay. I will show you some of the things that I have been doing. I have a couple whips. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't even bring my other one over to the camera. Hold on. I'll show you these that I have here right now. Okay. I forget which site it was on. I don't think it's Stitch Mania. I think it's the other one I'm on with Joe Gregoire. Anyway, it's a mini. It's mini February is what it's called. So we were supposed to stitch a mini because February is a short month. So I started this last night. It's not finished yet, but it's just a little one called Welcome Autumn. All I have to do now is just the vine that goes around, so I'll get that finished tonight. This is the picture. So I'm not even sure where I got this. It came with a little frame. So, but it didn't come with a backing or any way to put it in the frame. You have to kind of ingenuously or use your brain to figure it out. And I'm not sure whether I have a brain to do that or not, so it might just get taped in there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And I did want to start learning hardanger, so I took it upon myself to purchase a kit from Victoria Sampler. They have a Beyond Cross Stitch learning kits, and the one that I started is the, I don't know if you can see that, level 5 is the first ones of the hardanger. So this is just learning the cloister blocks, or cluster blocks, however you pronounce that. So there's no cutting on this first set, and I have hit the lazy daisies, and I'm going to watch that video. Somebody on here posted a video, I can't remember who, doing lazy daisies, and I think I've got them down, but when I look at them again, I'm not sure I do. But anyway, this is my progress on that. And I'm not upset with the way it's happened, like the way it's going. The lazy daisies are, they could make or break the picture. Who knows? But I think I'll be pleased anyway, because it's a technique that I've never done before. So to me, it looks good. Give it a bit of an iron and it'll be good. And I do have the next block, the next kit too. So once I finish this kit, I might start right away on the next one. I'm not sure. But we will see. Excuse me just a second while I go and get my other whip. Hold on. Alright. This is one that I did just post a picture on Stitch Mania, because this is the Chatelaine Shenanigans. And I'm not sure I can get back far enough. Yep, I did. Okay, this is part 1 and 2. And I just started part 3. You can see a bit of the little bling with the beads down the side here. Each of these squares has a bead in each corner, and then there's a big one in the middle. You might be able to see it shining a little bit. And then this is full of little beads too, little delicas up in there. And then there's just one in the middle here. I'm not overly fussy with the way that goes, but can you even see that? Kinda, not really. It just kind of looks out of place. It's just a cube, and I'm not sure the purpose. There's 5 of those cubes in this picture, so I'll have to see where it goes, but if I really don't like it, I think I'm going to end up taking it out and just stitching something in there. But, yeah, part 3, all I've done so far is that very bottom gray line. So when part 3 is finished, it'll go from the top down to the top of those urns with the flowers. That'll be all part 3 straight across. So it's a big part. It doesn't look overly complicated, just a lot of stitches. And that is Meaty Mystery 3, which since I've purchased that pattern, it probably has had a name, but I'm not familiar with what the name is. So I can't even begin to tell you that. Sorry. I do have another whip on the go, but I don't know if I've showed this one or not before. It's from, I believe it was My Big Toe, and it's called 2 Corinthians. I think I showed this, and it's called Love Is, but it is still in the Q-snap, and it's all rolled up inside. I really don't want to take it out. I have not made any progress on this in a very long time, so there's not a whole lot to even look at. But anyway, that's that one. I do have an order for 2 needle minders coming from True North Needle Minders. It's I believe I ordered Lucy and Charlie Brown, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. I've got a little thing for Charlie Brown, if you will. I just think he's such the underdog, and I feel so sorry for him all the time. But I can totally relate with Lucy, because I think my inner personality, I am a Lucy. Believe it or not, I think I'm crabby and, miserable. But what else do I have? Not a whole lot with stitching. We're trying to downsize a bit. I can show you some haul that I purchased. It's not, hold on, I'll get it, because I didn't know I was going to actually show this. It is older stuff. My mom and I went to town, and we hit a thrift store, and I had picked a whole bunch of magazines up before I found out they were $1 each, so they were quite pricey for a thrift store. So I had to actually downsize what I had already picked, so I put all the quilting magazines back and a couple of the knitting ones, because even at $1, it was still a lot of money. So I shall show you. This is a long process. There's 20 of them, I think, 20 magazines. I'm not going to go through them. I'll just show the covers. A while ago, back in the 90s, I used to paint, toll painting, folk art painting, and I would like to get back into it, like I have time, really. But anyway, so I picked up this one, Holiday Heartwarmers, and it's got some snowmen and Santa Clauses and other doodads. The trick is finding the wood pieces. I did get a scroll saw one year from my husband, and I did, back when I was painting, I did cut out my own shapes out of the scroll saw, but I have discovered a couple companies that they do have them already. They have different books, and then they have the wood pieces for a lot of the patterns already in the books, so I have done that too, but we'll see how that goes. This is Annie's Springtime Samplers, and these are older patterns, but some people might still like them. I still have a dream of having a table at the farmer's market of painting and stuff, but I think that's the only 2 painting books. And then because my grandchildren are starting to come now, I have 2, and I know there's going to be more, so I'm always on the lookout for knitting books, and there was a couple there too, and there's just little cute patterns that I thought would be cute on a little grandbaby. And this is an oldie, the Complete Needlecraft Encyclopedia, which I thought was a pretty cool find. You can tell by the lady on the front that it is an older magazine. King Patterns, I've never even heard of them, but it's from Ontario. Paris, Ontario, which is where the Mary Maxim store is, if you've heard of Mary Maxim. But it has knitting, macrame, tatting, crochet, rug hooking, crewel and embroidery, needlepoint. So it's got quite a bit in there, and it looks like a pretty decent. It's got a lot of pictures, and then I don't think there's patterns in here. It's just more how-tos, but it's very shows you quite well They're not colored, but they are good directions. So I look forward to having time to go through that one. And then I got one, again, it is dated, but that's all right. Professional Finishing Techniques. And so it shows how to make the little cushions, and this one has jar lids. What's inside? Some, I don't know, are they bell pulls? Not quite sure. But just little ways of finishing your projects. This one has, which is good because I'm really bad at finishing my projects. So this might help a bit. And again, I'm not sure why I picked this one up. I guess I wasn't really paying attention. I don't crochet. And this book is crochet. So I think I will send this to my daughter because she does crochet, and get her to make something to keep on file for when one of her siblings has a baby. Oh, another painting book. It Must Be Santa. So I am really looking forward just to getting back into painting. A lot of it's time. When I work away from home 4 days a week, when I come home, I don't want to do anything. I just want to relax. But, waiting for me is the housework and everything that goes along with that, because it just doesn't get done when I'm not here. So, this is just some sweaters. I never looked inside before I purchased them to see, because I'm a plus size lady, and sometimes patterns don't have the plus sizes in them. And this one looks like it might, the large looks like it might fit by the size of the inches. But if it's a pretty standard, I might even just be able to estimate and add a few stitches to make it bigger. But this one is Kid Knits. And there's different sweaters. So I thought, I'm very optimistic that I'm going to get things done for grandkids. And maybe I will. Who knows? I don't know how long I'm going to work. I have a few credit card bills and debts that I've incurred with the business, so I need to pay those off. And then hopefully I can come back home again. But I think my husband would like me here to make sure there's dinner on the table every night, kind of thing. He's, as much as he thinks he's progressive, he's very much old-fashioned, and he likes, me to be here. So I'm really liking these because I got an Afghan that my grandma had made for me a long time ago, and it was a rippled like that, and I've never known how to make them. So I would like to make one. So I'm looking forward to trying out that pattern book. This is a magazine that I guess was out a while ago, Stitch by Stitch, and it's got a bunch of different, it's got sewing, it's got knitting, crocheting. There was an issue I looked at, it had cross stitching, but it looked like it would be a really good magazine to have. It doesn't even have a date on it, it just has a volume. So I'm not even sure. Oh, 1980. So it is an older magazine, but there's probably a lot of good stuff, and I wished I had the more money that I could have bought all the issues that the store had, but I didn't. So this is another one. You can tell by that one girl that it really is an 80s magazine. But I mean, some of these, like these kid sweaters, they don't go out of date. They're just cute. So if next time I go to the city, if that magazine is still there at the thrift store, then I think I'll maybe grab the rest of those issues. And another sweater one. Mary Maxim baby book. This is cool because I didn't even know this was around. I've been ordering from Mary Maxim for like 20 years or more, and I didn't know that they even had, that's the same on the back, an actual knitting. It's actually patterns in here. It's not just, so I don't know if they maybe started out as a design company or a pattern company and evolved into, if you don't know what Mary Maxim is, it's like Hirschner's. If you know what Hirschner's is, just a catalog of craft supplies, mostly knitting, crocheting, and stuff. And there's another one, Mary Maxim Baby Book. And it's got a lot of sweater sets and neat layettes for babies. And some go to a bit older size. Lady Galt, I like these books. My grandmother, when she decided she had stopped knitting, she gave me all her pattern books. So I have a lot of original pattern books from when my dad was a baby. So we're talking 72 years ago that she knitted for her kids. And I mean, at the time they were 5 cents, 10 cents. But they have made some of them, they reproduced them into modern, and they were selling for $8 a magazine. So I was so glad that I actually had the original. So I thought, I'm cool. But, and Lady Galt was one of the ones that my grandma had given me. It's not this issue, it's a different one. But I felt really privileged that she gave it, because my only other girl cousin at the time she was too young, she didn't knit. This is 1967, so this is a newer one. But my cousin didn't do any crafting like that, so I'm the one that got them. So I was so thrilled. Stitch and Sew, it looks like it's another magazine. That's not the name of that other one, is it? No, that was Stitch by Stitch. So this is, for readers who help readers with their stitching problems is what it's called. So it looks like it's a really neat little book. It's got some patterns. It's got a bulletin board for help. Like if you're stuck on something before the internet where you couldn't ask it, And it's got different craft patterns and just different, I don't know. It's just something that I wish was still around, some of these kind of magazines. And just another knitting pattern, cardigans. And then this is called Create and Decorate, and it's more of a decorating magazine, I guess. But I did like this picture here, which looks like it's an embroidery. And there is a few embroidery type pieces that they're showing. This is applique. Or is it painting? Oh, that one in particular. Sorry, that one's painting. But there is one similar to that that's applique. And just different. I guess most of these ones in here are painting in this issue. Which is fine too when I want to start my painting. These are embroidery on tea towels. So that's it. That's those ones. And then I did pull out a quilt that I made, or got the quilt top that I finished. And it is my beautiful Holly Hobby. I wasn't fussy with the pattern. It was very hard to follow. And because it was done as a class, I don't think the pattern got, done for an individual to do. It was more watch the leader do it kind of thing. So I did almost not have enough fabric because I cut these squares wrong. They should have been cut on a bias kind of thing. But I did end up getting just enough. They had to sit on an angle, so they weren't, I don't know. Anyway, you can't really see the whole quilt. I can't pull it back far enough. But it's there. So I just have to find some nice flannel backing for it, and then I can get it done. So I think that's really all that I have to comment on. I probably should put my overalls back on and go down to the barn again. Maybe I'll finish my tea first. I do have my tea in my I was late putting my Christmas cups out, so I'm late putting them back. I still have my Christmas cups in my cupboard. So I'm having my jasmine pearl tea in a Christmas cup. And that is that. Okay, yeah, I think that's this time. Sorry I was late. I had said I was going to do one every month, and I did miss January. There was a lot of upheaval in my life in January, and I just didn't get around to getting a video done. So now I have February's, and hopefully I'll have some finishes for March. And I also am hoping my needle minders will be here. I do have a parcel. I noticed in the mail there was a parcel card, so they might even be here. But I don't know why they'd be as a parcel, because they're not that big. They could fit in my box. But yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it. So if you are interested in looking at my website, my store is Nimble Fingers Needlework Supplies, but my website is nfneedleworksupplies.ca, and maybe you can check me out one day, and if you're Canadian, it might help. Anyway, I guess I will continue watching you guys. It's kind of cool because I can get YouTube or Floss Tube on my TV in my quilting area, so I either stitch or quilt with my Floss Tube running, and my son, I remember I heard him tell my husband the one day he had asked what I was doing, and he just said she's watching stitching on TV. So I'm not sure what he thought, but he calls it my stitching show, which is quite fine because he doesn't need to. I told him he should subscribe to me, and it's like I subscribed to him. He's got a YouTube channel, and I had subscribed to him, so I told him he should really subscribe to me too, and he just said, well, I don't do stitching. It's like, well, I don't play your video games, but I still subscribe. So I don't know if he did or not, but anyway, so I guess I will let you go so I can go do another barn check and see if there's anybody out there having babies. So I will let you go for now. Talk to you later. Bye.